Very much for coming to this pre-meeting press conference about the World Economic Forum on Europe, which will start on Monday here in Brussels. I know it's a very busy news day, so I thank you all for coming. I have with me the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Belgium, Steven van Akkeren, and Stephen Kinnock, the Director, Head of Europe and Central Asia of the World Economic Forum. I think Stephen Kinnock will give us first an introduction about this World Economic Forum on Europe that is happening for the first time here in Brussels. Stephen.
Thank you very much, Matthias, and good afternoon to you all, ladies and gentlemen. The World Economic Forum is absolutely delighted to be holding its regional summit here in Brussels for the first time. We have decided to hold our meeting here in Brussels for a number of reasons. In many ways, due to our strong links with the government of Belgium, and I would like to take this opportunity to profoundly thank Minister van Akkeren and the government of Belgium for the excellent collaboration that we've had throughout the design and preparation for this meeting. Obviously, with the government of Belgium taking on the rotating presidency of the European Union soon, that was an important factor for us. But there's also, of course, a key factor, which is that the European Union has been going through some very challenging times, not just recently, but really over the last few years, with a lot of internal debates and wrangling about the institutional architecture and processes of decision-making within the Union. We felt that with that internal discussion out of the way and a new leadership team in place, this was a fantastic opportunity for the World Economic Forum's communities to engage with that leadership team, to hear how that leadership team intends to set out a strategic vision for the European Union for the next 5 years, how the new institutions will work together, how the new Europe 2020 strategy, which is focusing on developing a Europe which is the world's leading knowledge-based economy, driving competitiveness, driving growth. What is the vision? What is the new leadership team going to do to deliver that vision? And how can the private sector engage with that leadership team to put those policies into practice? That's really why we felt that Brussels was an absolutely obvious choice for us to have this summit. Clearly, in the meantime, there have also been a number of extremely urgent, more, if you like, short-term, one might even use the word crisis-related issues that have come to the fore in recent months. And obviously this meeting will be, it couldn't be at a more timely moment with the Eurozone summit happening this evening, our opening plenary on Monday with Presidents Barroso and Prime Minister Leterme and President Van Rompuy. It'll be a great opportunity for us to hear exactly what measures are going to be put in place and how the European Union is going to weather this storm and move forward, come out of it and move forward into the future. So I think a range of, if you like, contextual long-term drivers for this meeting, also some extremely pressing and urgent short-term drivers mean that we're very excited about the opportunities that the meeting presents. Our business community is also very excited. I can confirm that we have 470 participants confirmed for this meeting. We have 25 of the World Economic Forum's what we call strategic partners, which are the top 100 companies that the forum engages with. Some household names like General Electric, Zurich Financial Services, a whole range of absolutely key players will be sending important delegations to the meeting. And so I think what we're seeing here is a coming together of the political and government community with other stakeholders, particularly the private sector, for a meeting that I think will be very important in shaping the European agenda going forward. So that's a little bit of context. I'll be very happy to answer any other questions. But with that, I'd like to hand over to Minister van Akkeren. Thank you.
Yes, we have two Stevens today. Steven Spielberg is not coming. I wish to underscore the fact that we as a government, we more coherence in the tackling of global problems is something that, of course, needs governments to work together. That's absolutely true. But thinking about the coherence of the strategies cannot be successful if it does not also imply the energies that are available from the private sector, not only the academic sector, but the whole of what is to be considered as people wanting to take responsibility without necessarily being in government. And second idea, me as an inhabitant of this fine city, Brussels boy, I always wondered why the World Economic Forum was not based in Brussels. And it was explained to me that in the history and the successful history of something which has started off rather small, that the idea of coming to Brussels has occurred earlier, but perhaps that the hospitality of my fine city was not all that up to standards at that time, and at least that the willingness to be hospitable was less available than it should have been. In a sense, today we're correcting one of our historical errors, because when we asked some time ago the World Economic Forum if they would consider having an event in Brussels, they were immediately ready to consider that, and I must congratulate them with the work that has been done in order to organize a regional forum on Europe in the days to come. Perhaps I would like to point out that it's not per chance, it's probably simply by using your brain, that the main topics that are going to be discussed in this regional forum coincide with some of the great priorities that Belgium has put forward for the second half of 2010 in the framework of its rotating presidency. And I only mentioned the fact that the socio-economic situation and the exit strategies on the one hand, and the problems of climate change on the other hand, are not only very specific topics that will be discussed in the proceedings of the World Economic Forum in Brussels, but they are also on top of our agenda when it comes to deciding what themes need to be tackled in the second half of 2010 when Belgium will take the rotating presidency. And it is clear, of course, and in that respect it is even self-evident that the results of reflections that can foster new ideas about how to tackle these problems, ideas that would come about in the World Economic Forum proceedings, will of course influence also the way that Belgium will look at some of these issues when this country takes up the role of honest broker and the role of participating in coming to a consensus within a framework of the European Union. I want to thank you very much for having been willing to do this effort. I want to congratulate you also on the high level of participation and in succeeding to mobilize not only the European Commission but several heads of state and government and several ministers and many CEOs from Europe and outside Europe for this event. And I would like to express the hope, and let's have a look at how things go, but I express the hope that you will have not only a very successful forum this time, but you will consider in the future having a new edition of this kind of event, leaving your home base and having a look at this city in order to organize events. But let's take it one step at a time, right? And let's have a successful meeting, and we'll see in the future if we can continue to work together. I know for one that with such a wide constituency as the WEF can provide, that intellectual and creative forces are joined in order to think about the problems of tomorrow, I think that is an essential contribution to what the world needs today: more coherence and more strategic thought about the problems that we share, having, of course, a situation in which there are no problems in the world that can be considered as being only the problem of some, because most of the real problems of today are the problem of all the citizens of this world. So I would like to conclude here, and as you, I'm available for questions, of course.
Thank you very much, Mr. Banaka. If you have questions, I'll open the floor now for questions. Please wait for the microphone and identify yourself. Any questions? Hard to see it from here because no questions?
I'd be delighted to. Yes, I don't think I've ever been in a room of journalists where there were journalists who didn't have any questions. But as you say, Minister, it must have been crystal clear what we said. A few more details on the programme. We have as our overarching theme renewed leadership, new vision, and that very much harks back to what I was saying about the fact that we've got a new team in place, not just some new institutional structures with the appointment of President Van Rompuy and High Representative Baroness Ashton, but also a whole new team of commissioners, a new configuration for the European Commission. So I think that's very much about saying, here's a new team, here's an opportunity for our communities to get in on the ground floor, if you like, with that team and have some initial discussions with them. Certainly, I think before they've really made up their minds about how they want to spend the next 5 years, it's a great opportunity for some dialogue with the private sector to help them to shape their agenda and their policies. Within the programme itself, we have a total of 19 sessions, which will be covering 3 pillars, 3 themes, if you like. The first is around strengthening economies, and that's going to be looking at a range of issues, such as how to better regulate financial services, what is the future of the Eurozone, it's an absolutely critical question at this time, but also looking at the role of innovation and clean growth, green growth, in driving the 21st century economy. We have a session as well on sustainability, pillar on sustainability with a number of sessions in it, a discussion about the future of the climate change negotiations. We're very pleased to have Commissioner Connie Hedegaard there, who can really give her perspectives from Copenhagen and what is the future in terms of moving forward to Cancun and COP16. And we also have a pillar on geopolitics and security, which will be looking at a whole range of issues around how does the European Union intend to engage with its neighbourhood, relations with Russia, relations with Turkey. We're very pleased to have the chief negotiator of Turkey on the EU accession on one of our sessions within that paper. So I think looking across the programme, a broad sweep of issues there, but very much anchored around the European Union and the role the European Union should be playing in those issues of strengthening economies and ensuring sustainability and geopolitics and security. So that just, I hope, gives you a flavour, and I'd be very happy to answer any more specific questions you might have.
I can add something. You've also received in your press documents the embargoed copy of the World Economic Forum's Lisbon Review, which is the 5th in its kind. We have for the past 10 years studied the Lisbon goals of the European Union and to see how far has the EU gone on its target to become the most competitive region in the world. So any questions on that?